welcome, ladies, and thanks for being here. I'm Jaki Sabourin, your host of the Engaged at Any Age online global event, where we're taking a deep dive into loving the single life, mastering dating, and attracting the one. And it is my absolute honor and pleasure to introduce to you the fabulous Cyndie Silbert. Cyndie, welcome, and thanks for being here.
Hi, Jackie. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here with you.
Hey. I'm so honored to have you a part of this summit. Ladies, Cyndi's a personal friend of mine. She's an incredible feminine master, and she's going to share her how to embody the feminine to attract true love and live your true calling. Doesn't that sound fantastic? I love the title of this topic, of this talk. And so before we dive in, though, ladies, let me tell you a little bit about Cyndie. She's the founder of Feminine Mastery and the creator of Feminine Mastery Archetype System, as well as the celebrated author, True Calling, Awaken the Power of Your True Self. And you can find that on Amazon. Cyndie has awakened thousands of women through her acclaimed Feminine Mastery interview series, offering women a path to deeper fulfillment and elevated success without stress. Cyndie is leading the shift into feminine paradigm with Feminine Mastery, a holistic and innovative solution for women, available through private mentoring, online retreats, vibrant online community programs, and she's going to talk about her Maui retreat later. I can't wait to hear about that. And when a woman discovers her feminine mastery archetype and lives her true own unique feminine mastery, she flourishes in a new reality where her deepest desires, dreams, and true calling are realized in love, life, and business. Yay! So excited. I agree. I love that last part. When a woman just flourishes in a new reality where her deepest dreams and desires and true callings are realized in love, life, and business. That's what happened to me. And I want that to happen to all the ladies watching. So share with us a little bit about your story and living your true calling and your love.
Yeah, thank you, Jackie. I'm so excited about this topic too, because I really do believe that your true calling goes hand in hand with finding that true love. And ever since I can remember, I wanted both. I felt this deep yearning I was hopeless romantic, wanting love, wanting that true love, whatever that meant to me, whatever it means to the women watching. And I also had a profound yearning, almost an ache to know why I was here. I felt that there was a purpose and a calling. But like many of us, I went through the traditional, upbringing, growing up as a girl, went through college, tried all kinds of careers. But then there was a point in my awakening where everything changed. And the common denominator between me finding my true love and my true calling is really the island of Maui, where I connected with the divine God, the divine feminine, a goddess source, without knowing what I was stumbling onto or into. But it was at that time where I went through this deep transformation. It was before my first round of love. I was a late bloomer both times. First time I got married at 36. But we shared a passion for Maui. My first husband and I, we bought properties over there. I ended up leaving the corporate world and found myself plopped in the middle of the Pacific with a young toddler boy without anything to do. And I wanted to do more than, talk about peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and whether to vaccinate your son or not. So I basically took a journaling process I had created and put up a sign and said, I'm going to become a life coach. And from that point forward, download after download, intuition, the archetypes, the divine feminine, what's now feminine mastery, all of it came pouring through me. And so you're probably thinking about, well, what happened to, the first love? And unfortunately, after that whole big awakening and we ended up changing so much, it was clear that we weren't that forever love. And so we did end up splitting. And not too long after, in fact, a very short time after, I met my now true love. And, we have our whole life together. And I don't want to talk too much, Jackie. I don't know if you want to interject, but one thing I want to come back to for sure is, what is true love and what is your true calling? Because these terms we hear so often, and yet I don't know that women necessarily really know what that means. So I can check in with you, but I do want to talk about that too.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you for sharing all of this with us. I love that you had, you gravitated towards a magical island of Maui. And of course, you know how I feel about Maui, how in love I am with the island and the magic. But I really think that these are linked, right? There are calling and it's beautiful love. And when we have love in our life, everything feels possible. And I think a lot of the ladies that are watching really do struggle, or maybe that's too strong of a word, but desire, like you said, yearn to have purpose in life, to have more than just which is a wonderful, having love in our life is amazing, but we want to feel like we've done something with our life that really meant something and leave some kind of legacy, especially for our children and the people that we share our life with. So I think the work that you're doing really does go hand in hand with, getting engaged at any age. It's really about getting engaged in life and your life and what makes you happy, what makes you passionate. And I know that you talk about the feminine mastery difference. So talk to us a little bit about feminine mastery, because I think some women really don't quite understand what that really truly means. I think there's some confusion that you're the perfect person to clear up for us.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk out there and new, teachers and programs and, a wide variety of this, feminine thing. Right. And what I can share with you about the feminine is that it is a powerful energy source, and it is not it's not something that you can kind of use as a tactic or a technique or manipulate or make work. When you're truly embodying the feminine, it is an essence and it's an energy, and it is of the highest degree of truth and love and light. And that's why there is such a profound connection with feminine embodiment, feminine mastery, finding true love and finding your true calling, because it really is becoming that divine embodiment of who you really are. And so feminine mastery is this awesome approach centered in these 5 archetypes that really help a woman awaken to that deeper part of herself. We know what we think. We talk about, I've got this personality, or I'm this way, or, I'm pretty, or I'm not pretty, or I'm smart, or I'm not smart, or, all those things that are bouncing around in our head. And that's not who you are. You watching and listening, you are so much more than that. You're this deep, vast being full of, your own unique gifts. You're a feminine genius, a unique essence that once you embody it, your whole body and light comes, shining through your eyes and your skin. I see women transforming in the moment, looking 10 to 15 to 20 years younger when they bring that being, that divine being that they are, into their body. And so the whole journey it's multifaceted, but there's like an activation process that the archetypes help with to help you really activate all the way from your crown chakra all the way down to your root chakra, all those centers of your being. And what that does is it literally lights you up. It opens up a channel. From there, you can become that divine, powerful manifester that you are, awaken to your own unique feminine genius, your gifts, allow all of that to come through. And so the process of finding your true love and your true calling is one of receiving and receptivity, which is a big part of the feminine. With the masculine paradigm, we're so used to rallying and becoming empowered and going for what we want and taking action and getting ourselves out there. And that is not the feminine at all. And so I believe it's actually impossible to find your true love or your true calling in that active mode. It takes a vulnerability, it takes an openness, it takes a receptivity. It takes opening that channel and allowing all of that to come through. And when your light shines and your truth, that's when you find your true love, because you're revealing who you truly are.
I'm just beaming because in fact, my face is starting to hurt because I can't stop smiling. Because as you're talking, I mean, that's what makes a woman irresistible, that finding that what you just described so perfectly, and I don't want to butcher it, but finding your truth, finding out who you really are, from that place that just that the light shines from the in out, and everybody, it magnetizes people around you and things to you. And so I love that you kind of gave a little bit of an illustration between the women, how we can show up versus how the feminine looks. And I don't know if you had a client that you can share, like you said, you watched it, it was visible when you saw her awaken to her true calling. And do you maybe want to share a little story of, just to really make it even very clear to the ladies watching? I think men have a high radar for this too. I think men and people, not just men, people can sense it. They can sense when we're coming from an authentic self versus we're coming from the persona that we've created to do our life. We don't realize that we're even in a persona or wearing a mask. It seems so normal because it's just the way it's always been. But of course, it's not connecting, and that's why there's this disconnect happening, why women are still struggling to find love, and where they haven't connected to their purpose and, you know, successful in their business the way they really can be.
Yeah, there's all these stories that we tell about why we haven't found love, and then we start to project, you know, men are this way, or love is this way, or I have to be this way or that way, and that becomes so complicated. And so this approach is so simple, right? I mean, I often have women say, you're kidding me. Like, that's all I have to do is embody and be who I am and share that. And it's like, yeah, that's the golden ticket. So now I lost my train of thought. So
I liked you just said feminine embodiment. I mean, talk about that. I think you women are afraid to embody the feminine. It's like, you said it's so simple. How do we embody the feminine?
Yeah, so I'll try to do that and weave in a couple stories to the distinct difference. One woman I want to share because it's so poignant. I just talked to her yesterday. I actually met her through your last series, and so she, you know, hot on the path. She wants her love. You know, she had her eyes set on this particular man, and all of our first conversations were about how she could get him. Well, how can I use that butterfly archetype to attract this guy? You know, it was all about that manipulation. She didn't mean to. She's a lovely woman, but it was all about that manipulation and her attachment to finding love, and in this case, making this particular man see her and want her and like bring her man home, you know, the whole cave woman approach. So through her involvement in my Feminine Mastery Unleashed program, which is it's work with the archetypes, where we move in detail through activating and unleashing all of that feminine essence and having a woman become her whole self, her true self. And I just got off the phone with her yesterday, and it was a joy to speak with her. She was inspired. She's attracting this higher quality of men. She is totally owning her beauty and her essence in a way where it's a gift to the men that she goes on dates with. And she's so free, so open. Her business is flourishing. And this is one of the things with Feminine Mastery, is the same practices that lead you to naturally attract that love and true love also makes you healthier, makes you more beautiful. It brings abundance in, right? All with a lot less effort. And then the other story I want to share is to give women, you know, hope, because, you know, I was a late bloomer, found love twice. But this particular client, when I met her, had never been in a long-term relationship in her 50s. And beautiful, I mean, like model, gorgeous, a very successful acupuncturist, a lovely human being, but she was so stuck in old patterns and patterns of letting debt, you know, accumulate, right? So entrapping herself in all these ways, so that there was this intense judgment and shame and hiding of who she was. And so once she went through private mentoring with me and came to the Maui retreat, there was this activation, this release, this shedding of so many layers, so that we could all see who she was, which is, again, so gorgeous, so light and lighthearted. and confident, naturally confident in who she is. So she returned from the retreat, and through a chain of events, she decided to keep this health club membership that was quite costly compared to her income, but she wanted to give herself that gift. That's what we learn at the retreat in Feminine Mastery, that receiving and that giving to yourself to fill yourself up. She noticed a man that had been going to that club for years. They had been like this, never noticed him before. He was beyond at least 10 times to the caliber of man that she was allowing herself to be with prior to embodying her feminine. And they are engaged, they're living together, they are so happy. They beam together now. He talks about her, how he saw her, she's her queen, his queen, and he had never met a woman that could receive, and he used this word, receive all that he had to give. So this whole feminine thing and this whole embodiment and receiving it's not just woo-woo stuff. It is very real, and I feel it's really what has been missing for women and what gives women, everything that their hearts are desiring.
So beautiful. I love hearing those real world stories about just women finding just discovering who they really are and really embodying, like you said, the feminine. And I love that. So just tell us a little bit about, so how do we, I know you said it's simple, but you did talk about the patterns. So she had these patterns that were going, a lot of women, that's a problem, they're stuck in the pattern. How did you help her step out of it? Or how can a woman start to step out of that so she can really embody her feminine?
Yeah, and that's the unique thing about what I teach, which is feminine mastery. And there's really 3 profound feminine shifts that I help women through, and one without the other does not give a woman that whole deep fulfillment and that everything experience that they're looking for. The first one that I see most programs either miss or don't completely deliver on is feminine freedom. And so we have intricate processes that actually free a woman from her patterns and entrapments almost instantaneously. So it's the ego thing. So it's a little bit like belief changing and mindset, but it's multifaceted. So it's energetic. It touches on all the parts of us that are complicatedly entwined and keep that entrapment in place. And so feminine freedom is that first shift. So without coming free, a woman can't come into her full power, that activation of her being, because the space is too small. And so from there, we have feminine power. So the activation of all your power centers, that essence coming into it's a cellular transformation that happens when a woman is literally turned on. And so there, everything's flowing, she's activated, she starts to get these messages, guidance on where to go to meet her true love, little inklings about what her true calling might be. There's profound books to be written that end up coming through, bodies of work. I mean, magical stuff from that state of being. And then the third shift is really into mastery. So the mastery practices are, we have to have something active to express ourselves and bring our gifts forward. We can't just magically, make everything appear. So feminine mastery, offering the mastery shift, really gives a woman a path to have that greater level of success and the deeper fulfillment, but without the stress, without the push and the struggle and everything that goes on.
That sounds fantastic. And so I'm hearing there's a surrender that happens when we get to the place in life where we're done pushing and making things happen, that we just want to surrender to what it is that we're to do. And this process that you take women through sounds just so divine. And so now you kind of briefly touched on the Maui retreat. So how does the feminine embodiment lead a woman to attracting her true love? So we talked about, we just open up in a way that, and we're in receiving. So talk about receiving more. I think women need to hear more about receiving and what that looks like.
Yeah, the magic of the feminine work and the feminine embodiment work And for feminine mastery, it's woven into all of our programs. But our Maui retreat is really that sacred chrysalis, you know, that place where you check out and you check in and you are immersed. You have this safe and sacred space to move through those shifts, to, like you said, to surrender, to be vulnerable, to allow those layers of all that stuff women carry around for years. I mean, lifelong wounds, patterns, so many things heal like within the first 2 days of the retreat. So each day of the retreat opens up more and more and more and more of that woman's aliveness and her expression. And through that, there's these miracles that happen of these awakening to who they are, why they hear these gifts. So another woman I love to talk about, who is in her 70s and has a very successful, through feminine mastery, even more successful without the stress, multi-level marketing business. And she was like, Cyndie, no, I don't want to go to the next level. And I'm like, well, why would you turn your back on prosperity if you can have it through your feminine? And so she opened up to that. But at the retreat, there was something more tender that she was after. And what she found was this gift that she had buried or kept packing away for writing songs and singing and performing. And so there's one part of the retreat, she performed for us, left us all in awe. There was the goddess that we were watching. The age did not matter. Nothing mattered. It now is the center of her inspiration for all the parts of her life. It was this part of her that was dormant, that was dead, that was not being served or expressed. And through that, the finding of that and experiencing it in that safe setting, now everything is elevated even more for her. So the embodiment, receiving is also multifaceted. So it can be just as simple, Jackie, as receiving a compliment.
Right. Yeah. Women struggle with that.
It's like we get something, we give it right back. We give something, we give it right back. But it's the deep receiving of eye contact, of that engagement that you talked about that being present without trying to wiggle out of the space, which that's the magic of being, when a man is present to a woman who is there and open and receiving of him. Oh my God, he is so turned on. He wants to give you everything. He's so intrigued by that. You're like this, you're this escape that he wants to go into. You're this dimensional world that he wants to dive into. But it's through that receiving of all that is, of the blue sky, of foods that taste wonderful, of your own body, of your sensuality, and then, you know, of your man. So we do multiple practices and multiple layers of guiding women to learn how to receive, how to be present in their bodies. And then the calling comes in Maui too, with becoming expressed, being able to verbalize those intangibilities of who we are. There's these amazing intelligence that we have that are unique to us, or these essences or these inspirations or these passions that once you give birth and voice to that in an embodied state, it sends a ripple out into the universe and it carves your path. So when you return home, there's this graceful awakening and stepping into an emergence of who you really are without it being so confusing, or what step do I take, or strategy do I use, or how do I work that with my relationship? And if I'm too successful, then men won't love me. You know, all that goes away. And wow. It's simple and graceful and gorgeous and a beautiful expression of who you really are.
It sounds transcendental and transformational, you know, and I think that a lot of women really need to go through this process, because love is at the end of it, and passion and purpose. And that is very exciting, especially discover, like you were sharing at 70, this client, she starts to blossom. So age is irrelevant. It's just a number. You really can tap into all that Cyndie is describing by going through these processes, surrendering, embodying, And I love the idea of somebody coming back from Hawaii, from Maui, and just having this new trajectory. Their whole life has a different trajectory from going through it, the process of surrendering and receiving. And I like that you said just slowing down, not trying to wiggle out of it. I know eye contact is something that's so intimate. And women, you've heard about, hold that 5-second smile. And the reason why it's hard, it's because that's a very intimate 5 seconds. And we don't allow people to see us because we've got some kind of beliefs or whatever that, that we're not good enough, or just we don't want to be seen. But I love that you're suggesting that we want to allow to be ourselves, to be seen, to be vulnerable and open, to receive that, because that's what is going to draw everything we want in life to us. We don't have to go get it. We can receive that through our eyes and opening them and looking at people and holding that eye contact and not wiggling out of it. So why do women wiggle out of that?
Yeah, well, we've collected a lot of pain, you know, and when in that old paradigm or those entrapments, it becomes so burdensome, and the lies that we tell ourselves, we feel the thorns, the swords that come from our own misperceptions and illusions about who we are that have nothing to do with who we are. And so with the embodiment, one of the big benefits is this healing, right? Because you know this well, Jaki, I know you and I have been on such a similar path, but when you embody the truth of who you are, the tears, the flow, everything happens all together, and there's that shedding and that release of all those, I call them the thorny patches, those places we don't want to go to, but just beyond that place is love and your light. And so having that courage to be supported and be vulnerable. And again, what I love about Maui is like, you're laughing, you're eating delicious food, you're swimming and snorkeling, you're hiking at one of the most sacred places on the planet, and releasing like all of the heaviness that keeps you from the glory of being who you are, feeling the essence of your own being, and then being loved and cherished and receiving all that beautiful life it's like right here. It's
right there. Yeah. And I know you put together a beautiful retreat, and I would love to hear about it. So the ladies that are watching that are really resonating with this conversation will be able to reach out to you. And also, I love this Archetypes. I know you have this quiz. Tell us about your free gift and a little bit more about the Maui retreat.
Okay, great. Yeah, so the archetypes are really the first step. And so we have a really fun free quiz. It's 10 simple questions. And what that quiz tells you is what we call your mentor archetype. So we each have all 5, because there's the chameleon, which is your ego, the butterfly, which is your body or your sacral feminine center, the honeybee, which is your solar plexus chakra. It's your will, your identity, your conscious creator in you, your manifester. And then there's the hummingbird, which is your beautiful heart, and the dragonfly, which is your spirit. And so we each have all of them. And so the archetype work helps bring all of them into full expression. But the quiz tells you your mentor archetype. So for those of you who are possibly judging parts of yourself, thinking you have to be somebody else to have love in addition to success, it's very helpful for that, very healing. But those of you who want to know your calling, it reveals your gifts and your destiny path. So one of the 5 archetypes is the one that you're most aligned with. So that's free on my website, but it's also the first step in the gift. And then I'm going to make available 2 of my favorite feminine embodiment and activation videos. And they'll be available in audio for you too, so that you can really get a feeling for those archetypes and see if they resonate with you or not. So if you really can feel the shift and might be interested in diving deeper into feminine mastery. And then with the gift, you have a couple of options. One is I've given a $200 discount to a session that's normally $297 for $97 if you want to have a private activation session with me. And then for those women who really feel like there's something here, you're feeling feminine mastery, your retreat is calling to you, you want your true calling, you want your true love, I'm just basically making myself open for women to email me and share their stories, and to have my reflection and see what's possible for them, and feminine mastery as well. And the retreat, this is an exciting time. It worked out perfect for this interview, and you and I love. We're gonna go to Maui together one day soon, Jackie. Yeah. Just you and I. But it is 6 days on the island at one of the most beautiful retreat centers called Lumeria Maui. It's tucked a little bit up country, so it's got beautiful ocean views, hammocks, crystals, these gorgeous rooms. The gardens are lush and captivating, beautiful bronze statues of Buddha and other spiritual figures. It's the most enchanting place I think that I've ever been. The food is more than 5 stars. I don't know how they do it. It is the most delicious, all organic, served family style. You swear you're not going to eat the next night because you ate so much the night before, and you eat it all, dirt and everything. But we weave through the grounds of the property. We take excursions, and the retreat follows the transformational pattern of the butterfly. So we begin with embrace, and we move into expand, creating that spaciousness for you to become embodied as the 30. And then we move into expression. So from that place of owning your beautiful feminine essence and extraordinariness, and you begin to express, and then we complete with emergence. So it is still, I've led this retreat 5 times now, and every single time every woman has a miracle. I mean, I can't even explain and women can't explain either what happens there, because it's just so incredibly different and extraordinary. But it's a place where you come for 5 nights and 6 days, and you leave everything that is not essentially you, that is not meant to come with you on your journey to true love and your true calling. You leave it there, and you emerge free and full and beautiful and renewed and excited and very clear about who you are and what you want to attract, and how to manifest that from that feminine embodiment state.
Wow. Oh, so exciting. Now, when is this? It's coming up, right? So ladies, take advantage of Cyndie's offer to, first of all, grab that free gift, and then look a little deeper for those of you that are resonating, because I'm already getting chills about, when is this retreat? When is it?
It's coming up in January, and right now, all summer, we have $1,000 off. And so I'm looking, I think we're going to fill the retreat. There's 10 spots available. I would love to fill the retreat this summer and give every woman coming that value. And then it's September 1st, the price is going to go up to its normal price after that. But we'll be enrolling as soon as we'll stop enrollment once the space is filled, but the retreat will be held in January.
Sounds so fantastic. And I just loved our time together. You really dove in much deeper than anybody that I've interviewed about how to embody the feminine, really cleared up receiving. And this retreat sounds so magical. I hope those of you that are watching, that are resonating with it, you really do. I recommend it because I love Maui. It's a place where you can transform. And with Cyndie as your guide, you would definitely step into that true love and true calling. So, Cyndie, thank you for the work you do. It's just you're so incredible. You're such a gift to all of us. And it's just been such a pleasure connecting with you here today. And ladies, make sure you just check your inbox for the email where you access the interview. You'll find the link to Cyndie's offer, and you can take advantage of that right away. So thank you so much for being here, everyone. Cyndie, thank you again for being here. Just love and adore you so much.
I love you too. We're going to Maui, girl.
Going to Maui. I'm going to Maui, that's for sure. We'll have to line up our dates.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, and thanks everybody for being with us. And I hope you feel even more how absolutely exquisite you are and how special you are, and get to feel that embodiment of your fullness. And all the best of luck finding true love and your true calling.
Thank you for that, Cyndie. Thank you. Bye, everybody. Thanks for being here. Bye-bye.